What's going on, everyone? It is feeding day again at Torpedoes and Tarantulas. And I'm only going to feed about a handful of the 35 tarantulas that I have in my collection because some of them we won't see, some of them are in pre-molt, some of them are in post-molt, and some of them are just assholes and never feed on camera. But I've gotten out some of the ones that I think will feed on camera, a couple of them that are in post-molt, and I'm going to do a couple of updates here as well. All that being said, let's dive right in. And on updates, this is one of two of the Aphonopelma annex that I got about a week ago or so, I guess now. This is the one that molted in transit. And as you can see, it has burrowed quite nicely down into the bottom of its enclosure where it is hiding and being bashful. I hope that will change when I drop a roach in. So let's put a roach in and let's see if it's hungry. Well, we got some movement out of the tarantula. And I can't reach the roach with my stick to tickle it back down in there. This would be the second feeding of these guys. I fed them the other day. I did get video of that, but I didn't really like how it all turned out, so I've scrapped it. I've still got it in reserves if I decide to post it, but I don't think I'm going to. Hold on. Okay, I've got something, a bendy stick here. I'm going to try to get this roach to move. There we go. That's all it took, was leading the roach into the tarantula's jaws. So there we go. That was Aphonopelma annex number 1. As the roach struggles to get away. But resistance is futile at this point. There is no escaping the fangs of death. Awesome. Let's check out the second one and see if it's going to eat for us. And this is annex number 2. This is the one you may remember that was doing quite poorly when I unboxed it. Wasn't moving at all. I emailed Eric and told him. He gave me some advice on what to do. So I did that, got some water in it, and it has started to recover. And it hasn't dug as deep of a burrow as the other one, but it has dug quite a wide burrow. It is doing pretty well. I fed it the other day. Of course, it was one of those. It was being an asshole. It didn't feed on camera, but of course, a few minutes after I turned the camera off, I look, and it had a hold of the roach. So let's drop a roach in now and see if we can get it on camera, taking the roach down. Kind of the same response it had the other day. It was just kind of indifferent to the roach being in there with it. And then, like I said, I looked in later, and it had a hold of the roach. You know, I was suspicious this thing was in a pre-molt, and it took that roach the other day. That kind of did away with that suspicion, at least for now. But, of course, it's doing like it did last time, and it's not making a move for the roach, although the roach is basically right up its hiney. Alright, so I just tried for the last 5 minutes to coax the roach toward the tarantula, and it actually fell on top of it once, and it didn't move. So it may now actually be in a pre-molt. I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm just hoping it's not being a jerk because the light and the camera and everything is on. It's not feeding for me, but just to put you guys' mind at ease, it is doing well. As you can see, it's moving around. I have observed it digging. I have observed it webbing. It's been quite active, so it's doing okay. it's just not going to feed for us on camera. So let's go find another tarantula. Okay, so this next tarantula is not a recently molted tarantula or anything like that. It's just one that I rarely ever feature on camera because it almost never, ever takes down on camera. So I hardly ever show it, but I included it in this video in the hopes that it would do a takedown for us. This is my Brachypelma albiceps sling. I got this guy at maybe a quarter, a third of an inch, and it might be an inch and a quarter, inch and a half, and I've had it for, about a year or so. So they're painfully slow-growing species, but when they get to adult size, their colorations just make it all worthwhile. It's not very striking right now, but it's still a pretty cool tarantula. Let's see if it's hungry. And, of course, I miss and drop the roach outside the enclosure. Hold on. Okay, Brachypelma albiceps feeding attempt. Take 2. This is one of those that I did have when I was feeding the other day and I was videoing. And I was saying how it never takes down on camera, and it made a liar out of me. And it took down on camera. But like I said, most of the rest of the video, I just didn't like how it turned out. So, like I said, I'm still not sure if I'm going to upload it or not. Of course, the darn roach wants to go and hide. And now, of course, look at that. The albiceps is going to prove me right and say that it never takes down on camera. As soon as I stop videoing this particular tarantula or turn that light off, the damn thing's going to grab the roach. That's just the way it goes. That's the joy of the life of a tarantula owner, though. You know, sometimes you get good takedowns, and then sometimes you get boring stuff like this. The roach is just wandering around right underneath it, almost saying, "Eat me." This tarantula here molts about every 4 or 5 months. So like I said, yeah, it is a slow grower. And I'm not going to bore you with it anymore. I'm just going to let it take down off camera. Let's go find something that might feed for us. So up next is my Selenocosmia crassipes, which has really settled into its new enclosure. You see it's got this burrow. Goes down here around and then comes back up on this side. And ever since I rehouse it, it spends a lot more time outside until you touch its enclosure, of course. So it was out until I touched its enclosure. I am going to drop a mealworm down its burrow and see if we can't get something on camera here. Let's see what happens. And, of course, I pause it, and we missed the freaking takedown. But there it is, now munching on the mealworm. Sorry about that. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of experience with editing and stuff like that, so if the feeding of a certain tarantula starts to run long, sometimes I will pause until I see the animal making a move, and that was one of those you blink your eye and you miss it kind of things. But there you go. That has been my Selenocosmia crassipes, now feeding on a mealworm. Let's find something and let's see if we can't get a takedown on camera this time, huh? Up next is my very beautiful Davus pentaloris, the Guatemalan tiger rump. I really love this tarantula. It's very, 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 very beautiful species. I'm pretty sure it will give us a takedown. Let's see. Oops. Kind of missed. Fell a little short there. Here we go. It's now got a hold of the mealworm. Look how beautiful these guys are. You know how big of an advocate I am for the Harpactira pulchripes and their beauty and how I say everyone should have one. Well, I'm starting to say the same thing about this beautiful tarantula here. I mean, look how gorgeous this guy is. It's a bit skittish at times, but it's not really bad. It's pretty chill so far. I've even had people, I've even seen videos of people that say that they get inquisitive when they get bigger. You open the enclosure and they come out to kind of see what's going on. There we go, guys. That was my Davus pentiloris. Let's move on. Alright, so this is probably going to be a two-part video, so this is going to be the end of part one. This tarantula here is one that we haven't seen in a few weeks. It just molted about a week ago, so I think it's ready to eat. Oh, wait, what tarantula? That one. This is my Pemphibidius species Platyoma. You can't really tell on video, but it put on some pretty decent size with the last molt. This guy is already a good 2.5 inches, and it was probably a 1/2 inch when I got it. So it's a pretty quick grower. This is one that I got with the mystery box with Pop Friction. He said it was about a week ago that it fed, or that it molted, so let's see if it's hungry. And indeed it is. These guys are so gorgeous as slings. Of course, they're beautiful as adults as well. Unfortunately, this is one of those species where the male tends to have be more brightly colored than the female once they get older, at least from photos I've seen. If anybody knows more about these and I'm wrong on that, please correct me, but that's what I have seen. They are just super gorgeous as slings. I'm telling you, this one is 2.5 inches right now easily. And I probably got it at a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch sling, and that was just a few months ago. So they grow pretty quick. This is one of those species that tends to get pretty big as well. This is the pink bloom bird eater or something like that. You know, we don't go by common names, but just to give you an idea of the fact that it is a large tarantula, it is in the bird eater family. So there you go. That has been my Pemphibidius Platyoma. First meal since a molt. I hope you enjoyed part one. Get ready for part two now.